A short trip ended in a deep and permanent loss. 2 young men died inside Ellison's cave in northwest Georgia. They were caught in the relentless spray of a cold waterfall. They did not drown. They died from hypothermia. The cold simply stole their lives in a matter of minutes. The news sent a wave of sadness through their communities. People who knew them felt a profound sense of shock. They wanted to understand what happened in the dark, wet, vertical world of the cave. They wanted to learn from this tragedy, to find meaning in a loss that felt so sudden and so senseless. Both were students at the University of Florida. Grant was a senior. He was a respected leader in the university's chapter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Michael was a freshman, just starting his journey as a marketing student. They were part of a larger group of friends. 10 students in total, 5 men, 5 women had traveled to the Crockford Pigeon Mountain Wildlife Management Area. They went there to celebrate a birthday. They went there seeking adventure. The cave was supposed to be a challenge, not a tomb. Ellison's Cave is a legendary destination for cavers. It is known for its immense depth and technical challenges. It is also a wet cave. Ellison's Cave is a geological marvel, a vast, complex system carved by water over millennia. Located in Walker County, Georgia, the 12th deepest cave in the U.S. Its most famous feature, the fantastic pit. A single unbroken drop, 586 feet. A vertical world that demands single rope technique. Cavers don't climb down, they rappel on a fixed rope. Ascending requires specialized gear and immense physical effort. Inside, air hovers around 56 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Water changes everything. After heavy rains, it can become a torrent. Water temperature stays in the 40s or 50s. Cold flow makes surfaces slick and treacherous. Waterfalls can engulf a caver and rope, turning a rappel into a life threat. On the day of the tragedy, the waterfall at the rappel point flowed steadily. Rescue officials estimated the water at 38 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. This is critical. Water at that temperature conducts heat away 25 times faster than air and is an immediate threat to life. The group gathered at the mouth of the cave, preparing their gear for the descent. It was a moment of anticipation and final checks. Just as they were about to begin their rappel, a crucial piece of equipment was lost, a bag containing a primary climbing rope. It tumbled over the edge and disappeared into the darkness below. The rope was 150 feet down. This set in motion a fatal chain of decisions. Rather than reassessing or sending for help, they decided to retrieve the lost gear. Grant Lockenbach, strong and confident, volunteered to descend on a smaller backup rope. He began his descent into the pitch-black void. The rope was positioned in the path of the waterfall. Frigid water poured over him, making control nearly impossible. He called out for help. He was stuck, unable to descend or climb back. Michael Peary did not hesitate. He secured to the same rope to aid his friend and entered the same deadly trap. Now, 2 young men were trapped in the freezing cascade. The 2 men were now prisoners of the rope and the waterfall. Their thin cotton shorts and shirts offered no protection. Water just above freezing is a relentless thief of body heat. Hypothermia occurs when the body loses heat faster than it produces it. Immersion triggers cold shock, an involuntary gasp and hyperventilation that clouds thinking and speech. Hands quickly go numb, dexterity vanishes. Within minutes, shivering begins, then drains precious energy. As core temperature falls, confusion and disorientation follow. Muscles weaken and stiffen, making climbing, even holding on, impossible. Rescue officials said loss of consciousness could occur in under 30 minutes, sometimes 15 to 20. At the top, friends heard responses at first. Over 20 to 30 minutes, the voices weakened, then fell silent. The waterfall continued its indifferent roar. Hypothermia kills quietly. As core drops below 90, the heart destabilizes. The brain falters. Unconsciousness leads to cardiac arrest. Strength is no match for cold water physics. Their end was a textbook case of rapid-onset hypothermia. As the voices faded, a horrifying realization dawned. They ran for a cell signal. The first 911 call was logged at 2:19 p.m. An immediate, complex response was triggered. Cave rescue demands vertical rope work, cave navigation, and wilderness medicine. Walker County Emergency Management coordinated with the Cave and Cliff Rescue Team. First, rescuers stabilized the 8 students with warming and medical checks. Then the focus shifted to the 2 men still hanging deep inside. A specialized team donned dry suits and assembled sophisticated rigging. Every anchor and rope was checked, new lines routed away from the waterfall. Their mission: reach, assess, and bring them up. Hope dwindled, but they had to proceed. The clock was ticking, but haste could create more casualties. The cave was dark, wet, unforgiving. The highly skilled cave rescue team began their descent. As they neared 150 feet, their lights illuminated the victims. They found Grant Lockenbach and Michael Pyrie, motionless, still drenched by spray. They were reached at approximately 3:30 p.m., just over an hour after the call. The operation shifted from rescue to recovery. The team confirmed the 2 young men had perished. They rigged a careful hauling system to raise them one by one. Weight, wet gear, and friction made the work grueling. The team worked for hours in cold, darkness, and water. The bodies were brought to the surface late that evening. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation took custody. Autopsies and routine toxicology were scheduled. Officials emphasized a failure of preparation, not equipment. Extremely cold water and inadequate clothing created a fatal scenario with shocking speed. The message was a stark warning about the underground environment and the necessity of knowledge, gear, and judgment. In the days following the tragedy, campus and hometowns were engulfed in grief. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes became a hub for mourning and remembrance. Carolyn White spoke of their compassion and character.
Michael didn't have to go down. He raced to help Grant, an act that cost him his life.
Grant, the leader who shouldered the task. Michael, the loyal friend who rushed without a second thought. They were remembered not for a mistake, but for bravery and character. The loss of Grant Lockenbach and Michael Pyrie at Ellison's cave is a painful warning. Nature operates by immutable laws. Physics and physiology do not bend for enthusiasm, bravery, or good intentions. It was not one failure, but a cascade of small, manageable errors. Dress for water temperature. Avoid cotton. Use synthetic layers, wool, wetsuits, or dry suits. Carry dry clothes in a waterproof bag. Caving demands technical skill, proper gear, meticulous planning, and backups. Practiced on dry land first. Plan for stuck ropes, dropped gear, and injuries. Winging it under stress is dangerous. Waiting for trained rescuers is often the bravest, smartest choice. Honor them by fostering a culture of safety so exploration continues, guided by wisdom and respect for nature's power.